What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again I am here with...
Kirsch1.
Today we're back at it answering more questions from you guys in this video series that we like to call For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is what Gruff Bevins did. He asks, or Bevan, if Farsight brings Shadow Sun to his side, do you think that they will be able to defeat the Ethereals and with their combined power and legacy? So in other words, are the Ethereals just going to be done away with? You are the Tau player.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big boost to the Farsight Enclaves because the entirety of the Tau see Shadow Sun as the hero. They follow her. She is their go-to. The Ethereals, they're mostly like politicians. They're like working behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, the Tau are aware of them, but they don't praise them like they do Shadow Sun. So it's going to be an interesting concept to see if like the pheromone control or mind control of the Ethereals would be stronger than their love and adoration for this military hero. But yeah, it's definitely going to be, I think, more in the favor of like Farsight and Shadow Sun than the Ethereals. Because again, thinking of the story, it'd be more badass and beneficial for GW to focus on those two named characters than a bunch of Ethereals.
Yeah, and I think it would be a really good tragedy to tell the story of how like the empire that was succeeding because of like the diplomatic powers of the ethereal and the water caste and like the entire caste system in general, and then it just devolves into let's follow fighters, let's follow like warlords, because that's basically what they are, right?
Yeah,
the whole fire caste. And then it goes back to that whole concept of like in the beginning the fire caste was going to wreck all the other castes. They weren't called that back then, but essentially what they were, right? Like the Tau from the plains were going to wreck the rest of them.
Like the ones from like the Rocky Mountains or whatever.
And it kind of like pulls the Tau Empire into that world of like, there is only war.
Might makes right.
Yeah. So I think it would be cool if GW did that, because it would be like a good tragedy. Like the hope that just dims out and dies with the death of all of the Ethereals.
And it'd be cool to see like how the Tau go from there. Like, do they still keep the whole unity and the whole greater good aspect of like trying to ally with other races, or do they fend for themselves from now on?
Yeah, because of the Startide Nexus, like you could see a civil war where it's like, no, we're not trusting these Tau Vespids and all that kind of stuff anymore.
Right. A lot of things to ponder here. And
Yeah.
it's cool because like usually when you think of like 40K, you have well-established civilizations and factions. Like the Imperium already went through a civil war. They're trying to make it out of like the Dark Ages and try to make humanity prosper again. The Tau haven't really had that. They almost killed themselves when they were primitive, but since then, their civilization has just skyrocketed in terms of progression of like their area of space, technology. So they've only known one direction, and that's up.
Yep.
And I've only known one direction. And they don't make music anymore.
They don't. Next question. This one comes from Chase Tosh.
Tosh?
What would happen if Katachan or Necromunda were to fall to chaos? Oops, shit. I don't think Katachan can fall to chaos, just because Katachan, like the whole concept of Katachan is that it's like a wild planet, and like it's already tough.
Yeah, it's already chaotic in terms of like feral primalness.
Yeah, so I think it's just gonna stay primal. If like a Katachan regiment turns to chaos, I'm pretty sure that has happened already. So nothing special there. If Necromunda turns into a chaotic place, again, nothing special. Like most hive cities that turned chaos, what happens to them? Usually a demonic incursion wipes them out. The Inquisition comes in and destroys them, or something like that.
Yeah, like I could see Necromunda being easily turned to chaos, but I feel like if it's not like a huge like chaotic, like I don't know, like if it's not like a major chaos god using these guys for something, it'd just be the same thing. Still gangs fighting against other gangs, but now they have horns and tentacles.
Right. Would be a cool story though.
Mm-hmm. And there is going to be a video game coming out on Necromunda, and like you're a bounty hunter going into like hives and stuff like that. So maybe we'll see chaotic Necromundians. Is that what they're called?
I think they're called, Necromundians.
This one is by Carrie Tyrell. Would you guys copy Gilliman and sleep for 10 millennia?
If I could sleep for 10 millennia, yeah.
Yeah, if I had my throat slit by a demigod and the poison was killing me, yeah, I'd sleep for 10 millennia if it means I would get to wake up. All thanks to Eldar waifus.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wonder like how the world will change in 10 million years.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't exist.
You'd wake up in space.
Yeah,
You'd wake up dead like 200 years later.
That would suck.
Can you wake up dead?
No. You can go to sleep and then die. This next question comes from the big one. I have lots of toenail fungus. If I leave it alone, do you think it will grow I'll grow my very own orcs? No, you'd probably just get gangrene at some point, and then you have to get your legs removed.
Mm-hmm. Either that or you join the gangrene gang from Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just dip your feet in some CLR. You'll be all right.
CLR?
Calcium, lime, rust.
That sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous. Don't do that.
Is it like Simple Green?
Will that give you more fungus? This next one is by Elliot Figueria. Why does Horus have so many tubes coming out of his head? What do these tubes do? Surely he doesn't need tubes coming out of his head if he's a Primarch. Horus?
Well, I think it's like augmentations. And I think the reason for that is just like everybody wants augmentation.
Mm-hmm.
And like depending on the Primarch, some of them take it to extremes.
Yeah.
And some of them want to hide him. Because I feel like Fulgrim and Gilliman hid their augmentations really well. But at the end of the day, like you know, they still need they still get augmentations.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at Angron. He's got a bunch of tubes in his head. Those are the butcher's nails. They served a purpose.
Yeah.
And that augmentation was to make him always angry all the time.
Yep. This next question comes from Lord Irish. Are you going to answer my question? Yes.
Consider it answered. Jay Warren. Who would pull more rank, an Inquisitor or a Commissar?
Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down.
This one is by Xanax. Sounds like some over-the-counter medicine you use for, like, hives. Get Xanax. You could go ride a bike in the park. Have a picnic. What are your guys' personal predictions on where Games Workshop might take Belisarius' Call and Tracing the Infinites cooperation on Cadia? From Games Workshop, like 40K Mechanicus, I thought the Necrons and the Admech weren't friendly at all.
So what Games Workshop goal is to try to sell models. So what they're probably going to do is like they'll try to. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that they were working on something.
I mean, it's not like they're buddies about it, but I mean,
I think what they're going to try to do is like come out with a story of like the Adeptus Mechanicus attacking the Necrons, or the Necrons attacking the Adeptus Mechanicus because of some like little argument that they had, and then just sell more of those already established models. Right. I don't think we're going to get any new models from that story unless they do something with the Silent King, or not the Silent King, the Void Dragon, but that's already done. Like, we already have a Void Dragon model.
If anything was going to come out of that, it would have happened then.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you could just look at it as two masterminds trying to one-up each other, and they're just working together in order to get something that the other wants from that person. Right. So I'm pretty sure Belisarius' Call wants like something from Trazian's vaults, and he's just working with him now so that he could get in there, take it, and then use it against him or something.
Right. This next question comes from Juan Lopez. Hi. If the Adeptus Mechanicus are the ones responsible to safeguard knowledge and probably others without permission, it seems pretty stupid to lose technology. How do you think humanity lost so much technology through time? Can the Adeptus Mechanicus, with all its wisdom, fabricate a photocopier to make papers to make paper backups at least. So it's kind of like us. I think there is a growing problem, I guess, in the U.S. or in America, where like standard trade jobs are not like there's not that many people going into trade jobs, and then if they are, it's just like regular like low level workers, and like the engineers and stuff are usually from overseas. So like I think that is what happened to the Imperium. There's a lot of people that didn't take the, maybe it's not the initiative, but it's just like the way things are. Like it's easier just to pick at the low hanging fruit and just become like a simple base level worker instead of going through the courses of trying to learn how an iPhone is created. Or another thing that is happening here in the U.S. is it's cheaper to get that product made somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So give it to those people, but then that means that you lose that knowledge. And let's say a warp storm happens. Now all of a sudden that planet that used to create the thing that you needed and that knew about it, it's cut off. So now you're just like, well, we know that this works. We don't know how because they knew and they're gone now. They're a demon planet. So we're just going to pray to this and hope that this doesn't break. And I think that's how it happened. That's just a symptom of like, what is it called when you have you diversify the supply chain? Whatever it's called. But yeah. Because I don't know how a phone works, but I use it every day.
Yeah. Red Robin.
Yum.
Braxton Grundy. Was Chaos Horus more powerful than his Demon Prince brothers? So like Horus when he was fighting the Emperor?
I mean, he killed Sanguinius, so yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you see greater demons fighting against Sanguinius and Sanguinius beating them, so yeah. Not just that, but there's many instances of like demon Primarchs losing to like Guilliman. And usually if they're a demon Primarch, that's just one chaos god empowering them. You got to remember when Horus was fighting the Emperor, he had the power of all the chaos gods. So yeah, he was mucho peligroso.
He is, yeah. This next question comes from Tin Man 40,000. Are there any psychic powered... Oh, we already answered that.
Nico Tugas. Assuming the Necrons in the Catan did not start the war in heaven, would the realm of souls still eventually become the warp, thus chaos still existing?
Probably not. No, because like if there's no war in heaven, there's no...
But there'll probably be something else that triggers that calamity to happen.
No, because like that was caused because there's so many psychically powerful races that are triggering those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And if the old ones wouldn't have gone to the war in heaven, they would have had the time to slowly learn more about the powers of chaos and not trigger the chaos gods from manifesting. Because they already had the powers of the webway. They already knew how to control the webway, a feat that no other race in the 40K universe right now could do. I would say no.
You convinced me.
Because another thing too is like when a population booms, they have less children. So it's like if the old ones are really powerful to the point where like they were like the Eldar, where they weren't having babies, they were just like in a utopia,
mm-hmm.
then there is less of them to feed the chaos gods. But then that means there's no humanity, there's no orcs, and there's no Eldar, and there's no 40K.
Mm-hmm. It's more like 10K.
Yeah. Negative 60 million K.
Whoa.
Would it be 60 million K? No, I don't think so. It was just 60 million. Next question comes from Braxton Grundy. Was Chaos Horus... Nope, we already answered that one.
Jacob. Just a simple, wholesome name. If the warp is a perfect shadow to real space, when demons are in real space, is there a warp kind of placeholder for said demons in the warp?
That's a good question. I don't think that's entirely correct, that it's a shadow.
No.
It's a shadow in the sense of like the upside down. In, what is it called? Stranger Things?
But it's not like when the kids go into the upside down, there's like Blank kids.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or when the kids go to the upside down, it's not like there's a upside down kid.
Right.
What would that look like?
Why are your toes there?
Yeah.
Don't worry. But it is interesting how like man-made things are there, but not biological things.
Right.
So it's like, what's that one thing? It's like when there's a equal reaction, there's not an equal and opposite reaction to that. Like
Yeah.
a cause and effect. It doesn't translate between the two. What is it, like demi-planes?
Yeah, because that's not what happens in reality.
Right.
In reality, there are even some atoms where, like, if they switch polarity, they sense that in another part of the galaxy, or supposedly, which is different than, because then what that would mean is, like, if there's an atom that changes polarity in real space, you look at the immaterium, and that same atom. Wait, would it? Then it might be the same. I don't know. The warp is crazy.
Yeah, we need a Neil Tyson deGrasse over here.
Yeah.
Gfish17. How do orcs grow from combat? If they get killed, isn't it pretty much over?
No, check out our 40 facts on how the orcs reproduce. If they get killed, then they release a bunch of spores, and those spores become whatever orcoid species it wants to be.
So growth in terms of getting bigger, yeah. Through fighting, they get bigger. But even through death, I guess you could say they get even more bigger because now that dead body releases more spores, and those spores then populate and expand and whatnot.
Think of a hydra. How did Hercules end up killing the hydra?
No piso.
That's what you have to do to orcs, just step on them. Oh, shit. Next question.
This one is by... Oh, we already did that one. Okay. Just Kano. Who do you think will be the next two Primarchs to encounter each other? It's probably going to be Gilliman and another Loyalist.
The lion.
Yeah, the lion has been rumored for years now. Also, I've been hearing rumors of Jagdai Khan coming back too. But in my opinion, it'd be really cool to see Gilliman and Fulgrim come back. So that way they could have their rematch.
I wonder if there would be a problem with, like, bringing Jagdai Khan back, because it would... Wouldn't that be, like, social appropriation?
Oh, that's true.
Because he's supposed to represent Genghis Khan, right?
I guess it depends on how they do it, though.
It's a weird world to live in. I would like to see that, though. I think Jagdai Khan is probably one of those Primarchs that the more you learn about him, the more it's like, oh, yeah, yeah, he's cool.
Because for the longest time, I just kind of like, oh, Jagdai Khan, whatever.
Yep.
I want to learn more about like Fulgrim or Angron, that kind of thing. But no, the more you look into it, it's like their beliefs in like the psychic stuff and whatnot. The armor that they donned, especially like the 30K era armor, was really cool. And I really like the freaking like halberds that they use in combat.
Yeah, and also, like, I was just thinking about how, like, in the movie industry, because China is such a big powerhouse, there's certain things that can't be included in a movie if it's going to air in China. Same thing with, like, the NBA, and like how all those NBA players wouldn't talk shit about China. So I wonder if GW, being a global miniature company, if they create a Mongolian version of a Space Marine, if that would be upsetting to the Chinese country. But maybe that's just me being ignorant of, like, whether there's tension between that and China and what was Mongolia back then.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because, I mean, at the same time, you also got to think, like, GW is making, plastic miniatures. It's like, they're toys. What's why would anybody get upset? But then you have, like, PETA coming after them for using, like, furs with, like, the space wolves and stuff. And you see how well Warhammer Adventures is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Is there a Primarch you wouldn't want to see?
No, I want to see all of them.
All of them?
Yeah. In my opinion, in the perfect world, I would want to have every 30K Primarch and every 40K Primarch out.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but again, having all of that out, it's like GW putting all their eggs in one basket, and they won't have like the Primarch to release like 10 years in the future.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
That's right. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.